Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. Welcome to your channel The Anatomy Canvas. Today we are going to discuss in the developmental anatomy we are going to discuss with the chromosomal numerical abnormalities. So chromosomal abnormalities might be defined as changes resulting in visible alteration of the chromosome number. Most chromosomal aberrations are produced by either the disappear of the broken chromosome or by the improper recombination, or there may be mal segregation of chromosomes during either mitosis or meiosis. So chromosomal abnormalities generally fall into two categories: the structural chromosomal abnormalities and the numerical chromosomal abnormalities. So in today's class we are going to discuss with the numerical chromosomal abnormalities, and in the next lecture we will discuss inshallah the structural chromosomal abnormalities. So numerical chromosomal abnormalities are defined as the addition or loss of the whole chromosome in the human cell. Some complex symptoms such as morphological, physiological, psychological deviations from normal can be associated with the numerical abnormalities. So there are the three main classes of the numerical abnormalities. These are either the polyploidy, the aneuploidy, or the mixoploidy. So here you should first understand what is the diploidy and what is aneuploidy and what is the polyploidy. So the normal gametes are haploid having 23 number of the chromosome. Euploid refers to any exact multiple of the n, that is diploid, triploid, etc. And aneuploidy refers to any chromosome number that is not euploid. So polyploidy can be diploidy. Diploidy is normal. It can be triploidy, it can be tetraploidy, it can be pentaploidy. Aneuploidy is deviation from the euploid number, any deviation. Either there may be an increase in number of a chromosome or decrease in the number of chromosome. And mixoploidy is a mixed pattern. So we will discuss one by one these all of them. So first is the polyploidy, having more sets of the chromosome than the normal. These cells contain two types of abnormality: the triploidy, tetraploidy. So triploidy, 1 to 3% of recognized human pregnancies are triploid. Most usually cause is two sperms fertilizing a single egg, that is dispermy, or the gamete may be diploid gamete. Tetraploidy is much rarer and it is always lethal. It is due to failure to complete the first zygotic division, which results into 4n number of the chromosome, that is the tetraploidy. So you must remember here another point, that normally 50% of the normal pregnancies are aborted, and out of these 50%, again 50% have major chromosomal abnormalities in them. So the chromosomal abnormalities usually not compatible with life, except few of them. The aneuploidy arises through two mechanisms, either through non-disjunction, that is failure of the homologous chromosome to separate in anaphase of the meiosis, or the failure of the chromatids to disjoin in either meiosis or mitosis. So that is the non-disjunction in the meiosis. This is one of the cause, resulting in the gamete, one of the gamete having 22 number of the chromosome. If it will be fertilized, it will lead to monosomy, and other gamete will have 24 number of the chromosome. And if it will fertilize the normal gamete, it will lead to the trisomy. So non-disjunction in meiosis leads to aneuploidy, that is either monosomy or trisomy. So in this diagram you can appreciate that the non-disjunction occurs at this stage, and as a result one of the gamete having more number of the chromosome and other having less number of the chromosome. This one having n-1, that is 22 number of chromosome, and these are having n plus 1, that is 24 number of the chromosome. So this can occur in meiosis 1 and it can also occur in meiosis 2. So if it occurs in meiosis 2, two of the gametes will be normal and two of the gametes, one will be having monosomic n minus 1 chromosome number and other will be n plus 1, that is 24 number of the chromosome. So this diagram shows you that the non-disjunction can either occur in meiosis 1 or it can occur in meiosis 2. So in both of these cases, in meiosis 1 all of the 4 gametes will be affected, but in case of the meiosis 2, 2 gametes will be normal and 2 gametes will be affected. So altering the relative number of the chromosomes will affect the interaction between gene products, thus affecting normal development and function. Trisomic embryos survive longer than monosomic embryos, and trisomies 13, 18 and 21 are compatible with survival until birth. These 3 chromosomes seems relatively to be poor in the genes, and aneuploidic mosaics are also common. So mosaics having non-disjunction in earliest stages of the mitosis, and which leads to the few cell lineages which will be having normal chromosome number and few cell lineage which will be affected. Another term very important is anaphase lag. So what is anaphase lag? It is that the failure of the chromosomes or the chromatids to be incorporated into one of the daughter nuclei during anaphase. So the chromosome that do not enter the daughter nucleus cell will be lost, and this will lead to the anaphase lag. Aneuploidy can be either in the sex chromosome or in autosome. Thus it can be distinguished into 2 classes. The autosomal aneuploidies are the sex chromosomal aneuploidies. So autosomal aneuploidies, most common types are the Down syndrome, that is trisomy 21, the Edwards syndrome trisomy 18, the trisomy 16 and the Tau syndrome the trisomy 13. You should also remember that these 4 chromosomes, they cluster together during meiosis, and then there are more chances of the non-disjunction leading to the aneuploidies. Then the sex chromosomal aneuploidies can be monosomy. Again it can be monosomies or it can be the trisomy. So monosomy X is called Turner syndrome and monosomy Y is not compatible with life. Only monosomy of the sex chromosome which is compatible with life is the Turner syndrome. Then trisomy can be either XXY or it can be triple X or it can be XYY males. So the XYY are called the Klinefelter syndrome, the triple X syndrome also called the super female, and the XYY males. So these 4 different types of anomalies associated with the sex chromosomal aneuploidies, and these are 4 anomalies associated with the autosomal aneuploidies. So we will discuss one by one all of these. Another term is the mixoploidy. So mixoploidy is a mosaicinous organism which is derived from the single fertilization, but which contains cells with 2 or more different chromosomes composition. For instance, it is possible to be 46XY and 45X. Some of the cells are normally male while others are Turner syndrome female. So this is caused by the chromosomal loss or non-disjunction in one of the few mitoses of the newly formed embryos. So autosomal aneuploidies, first is the Down syndrome. The Down syndrome is trisomy 21. It is 45XX or XY plus 21. So it may be a female. Down syndromic patient may be a female. Down syndromic patient may be a male. It is a common autosomal trisomy among the live-born children and has a frequency of about 1 in 800 of the live birth, and the frequency frequency rate increases with the maternal age. It is 1 in 3,000 at the age of 25, and if the maternal age reaches up to 40 years, it is 1 in 100. The frequency rate is nearly 1 into 100 of the normal live birth fetuses. So it usually does not run in the families, and it is related to increase in the maternal age. This is the chromosomal pattern. You can see there an extra copy of chromosome number 21 over here. So this is the Down syndrome. Psychological symptoms of the Down syndrome are that the children with this syndrome are invariably mentally retarded. There is a similarity between people with Alzheimer's disease and adults over 30 years with the Down syndrome. They share memory loss, confusion, anxiety, and loss of ability to perform simple tasks like dressing or feeding, etc. Physiological symptoms include they are of the small stature due to delayed maturation of the skeletal system, and their muscle tone is poor. They are hypotonic. They have characteristic face appearance. It is broad and flat with a small nose, irregular teeth, and abnormally shaped ears with the thick lips. Many of them have small fold of the skin across the inner part of the eye. This gives a lightly an oriental position, and the name given Mongolism, it is derived from this characteristic. So this is the epicanthal fold of the skin which is present on inner side of the eye. These children may have a furrowed tongue. 40% of children have heart defects. Defects of kidney, thyroid, and adrenal are so common with the disease. Some usually have dermatologic pattern of the hand creases. You can see the different pattern of the hand creases, that is semen creases present. Fingerprints and footprints are also associated with the Down syndrome. In such patients, the hip bone are usually abnormally shaped, and the feet's little fingers often short and curved inwards. Male have poorly developed genitals and invariably sterile, and females ovarian defects and irregular menstruation, but fertility is sometimes possible. Many children learn to talk, but the speech is usually thick and harsh surrounding, perhaps in part because of the hearing defects. Another very important thing you have to remember over here, that the mosaicism can also lead to Down syndrome, and this mosaicism is because of the non-disjunction of the chromosome number 21 in early mitotic divisions, and in such cases some of the cells will having the normal chromosome number and they will be euploid, and other chromosome which are having diploid, which having the non-disjunction, they will show the features of the Down syndrome. So in such cases, it depends upon the which of the cell lineage is affected. It will lead to the severity of the disease. Next is the Edward syndrome. Edward syndrome is trisomy 18. That is the 47XX may be female, it may be male for XY plus 18, another copy of the 47 chromosome. In this pattern, you can see an extra copy of the chromosome number 18, which is present over here. The usually syndrome affects about 1 in 4,500 live born children. Usually females are affected. In 65% of the cases, karyotype is 47XX or XY plus 18, means having extra copy of the chromosome. You should also remember that you have to memorize the karyotype as well of each of these trisomies and monosomies, because these karyotypes are important from MCQ's point of view. So you have to memorize these karyotypes as well. The children having abnormalities including the severe mental and physical retardation, they have elongated skull, and malformed extremities, sometimes pointed ears. Their jaw and oral cavity are small. This is the micrognathia, mean underdevelopment of the mandible, and they carry the finger in their abnormal position with the one finger overlapping the other. In this diagram you can see the low set ears as well, and again the micrognathia over here. In this diagram you can see the fusion of the finger, the abnormally positioned fingers, some second finger overlapping the third. Life expectancy of this syndrome is about 3 months in affected female, and it is about in females it is about 9 months, males it is about 3 months. So third one, trisomy, is the trisomy 16. Virtually no live born babies having trisomy 16 are seen, because this trisomy is often encountered in early abortuses, and its karyotype is 47 chromosome with an extra copy of chromosome number 16, and in this you can see the chromosome number 16 having third extra copy of the chromosome number 16. Then is the Tau syndrome, also called the trisomy 13. In trisomy 13, usually 5,000 live birth is the frequency. Affected children usually survive more than 3 to 4 after birth. Karyotype, again very important, 47XX or XY plus 13, having an extra copy of chromosome number 13, and the reason for this is the reason for this abnormality. Affected children are severely retarded both mentally and physically. Physical symptoms include the small skulls and eye. The ears are often malformed, and deafness is common in such individuals. May have many malformed thumbs and extra digits. You can see in this diagram, in this as well, that the malformed thumbs and extra digits are present, and 70% of the babies having the heart defects. So now we move on to the sex chromosomal aneuploidy. Monosomy X is the only monosomy which is compatible with life, because monosomy Y is not compatible with life. So frequency is about in 1 in 2500 to 10,000 of live born females. Karyotype, again important, 45X with minus X, 1X is deficient. Affected female with this syndrome has only 45 number of chromosome and missing one chromosome, X, which is X chromosome. This is the chromosomal pattern. You can see only one chromosome is present. Psychological and physical symptoms are that the affected women of this type are quite normal intelligence and may be rather bright. They are normal in appearance in addition to failure of the secondary sexual characteristics. Such women tend to have a short stature. They have widely spaced nipple and characteristic of the chest called the shield chest. So at birth there may be fold of the skin at the neck. You can see in this diagram. Other children will usually manifest a flaring of the neck as it joins the shoulder. Also you can see over here. And infertility because of having streak ovaries that lack both the germ cells and the hormone producing tissues. Oviduct, uterus and vagina remain small and immature. Next is the Klinefelter syndrome. So syndrome affects 1 in every 500 male births. The karyotype is having 2 X chromosomes. In this diagram you can see an extra copy of the chromosome X chromosome. About 10% of the males with Klinefelter syndrome exhibit an extra karyotype that are different from usually, that is 47XY plus X, an extra copy of X. But there are other conditions in which maybe the 2 copies of X chromosomes may be present, that is 48XY plus XX or 48XY plus XY, 2 extra copy of one X as well as one Y chromosome. Or another condition in which 49 number of the chromosome may be present, when XY with 3 extra copies of X chromosome and either XY plus 2 extra copy of X chromosome and 1 copy of the extra copy of the Y chromosome. So you must remember that if either only a one copy of the Y chromosome is present phenotypically, the baby will be a male born. So it does not depend on number of the X chromosome, that how many X chromosome is present. It depends upon the number of the Y chromosome. If only one Y chromosome is present, all other are X chromosome, the phenotype of the baby will be male. Another very important point you have to remember, that whenever there are two X chromosome in a genotype of any individual, one X chromosome will condense and will form the bar body. So line filter syndrome, normally 47XY plus X chromosome having two X chromosome, so they are generally bar body, single bar body positive. But 45X Y plus XX having two extra copies, they will be double bar body positive. This will be single bar positive, and this will be triple bar body positive, 49XY. So bar bodies depends upon number of the chromosome, one in excess of X chromosome. One X chromosome will normally it will show its feature, and other will condense and will form the bar bodies. So physical and the psychological symptoms of the filter syndrome are that having more than one X will not necessarily direct development towards femaleness, since the presence of Y along with the two X will cause individual to develop into male. These individuals usually normal bodies until onset of puberty. At this time, special physical characteristics as shown by partial breast development, slightly altered set of body proportion, and narrow shoulders and larger hips than are typical of the norm. So this is the diagram showing you that the patient have partial breast, male patient having the partial breast development and altered set of the bodily proportion. Usually they have the small testicles, the penis and the scrotum are usually of normal size. Infertility, that is absence of sperms and androgens because they have underdeveloped testes. Such person may be taller than the average. These individuals tend to show slightly depressed intelligence, and the line filter syndrome involving single cell lines of 48 or 49 chromosomes seems to have more extreme problems of all sorts, including the severe mental retardation. As I already told you that any extra chromosome, any X extra chromosome will lead to severe mental retardation. So in this case, where they have either two extra chromosome, X extra chromosome, or three extra X chromosome, will lead to the severe mental retardation. The third trisomy is the trisomy with the female with the trisomy X. These are also called the polyfemales or the superfemales. And in such conditions, you must remember that there is no distinctive phenotype, usually slightly lower intelligence female, and some of them having the menstrual difficulties as well. Their frequency is 1 in 10,000 live-born females, but usually an extra number of the chromosomes can lead to the mental retardation or lowered intelligence. They menstruate regularly and but usually infertile. So this is the chromosomal pattern. You can see an extra copy of the X chromosome in normal female. Only 30% of the cases of 48XXXX karyotype are formed, although normal in sexual development. These same females are severely retarded and also has a wide range of physical abnormalities. 49XXXXX 5X females have been found in population of mentally retarded individuals. So the fourth and the last type of the trisomy of the sex chromosome is XYY females, YY males. Karyotype is usually 47 chromosome with an extra chromosome, that is the Y chromosome. You can see an extra Y chromosome present over here. Symptoms are that usually 2/3 of all individuals are about 6 feet tall. Some of them show below average intelligence, but they have no distinctive characteristics because chromosome Y carries very few genes whose only important function is to determine the male sex. So such individual might be innately more aggressive. This you must remember, that these individuals are aggressive than normal, therefore more to run afoul of law. Or higher percentage of such men are found in prisons in more than the normal population. Many cases were XYY males who are of normal height, intelligence and behavior, but they can have a foul of law, they can run afoul of law, they are more aggressive individuals. So here we now complete our lecture. Thank you so much for a lengthy lecture today, and we will meet with I will meet you in the next class with the structural chromosomal abnormalities. Until then, dear students, Allah Hafiz.